I am enough. I am Sarah LaJoy. This is Becoming, a podcast about healing while holding it down, choosing softness after survival, and letting God rebuild what I thought I had to carry alone. If you're figuring it out in real time, you're in the right place. Let's become together. All right, honey, let's talk about it. You ever lose a friend so silently it almost didn't make sense? No fight, no falling out, just a slow fade. And then one day you realize, damn, we not even friends anymore. But she wasn't just a friend, she was a best friend. The kind that you plan to do life with. The if I win a lottery, you straight kind of best friend. She knew my family, my kids, my fears, my wins, my highs, and hell, my lows. And when it all shifted, it didn't just feel like losing her, it felt like losing a part of myself. Because here's the truth, dangerous wounds come close range. And the grief that follows, it comes from displaced trust. At first, I tried to explain it away. Maybe she's busy. Maybe life just got in the way. Maybe we'll pick up like nothing ever happened. But deep down, I knew. The call slowed down. The text got shorter. The excitement in her voice whenever I shared good news started to fade. What used to be encouragement started sounding like comparison. And then the support turned into silence. And silence, honey, is silence loud. It's louder than any argument, than any shade. Hell, it's louder than gossip. Because at least with those, you know where you stand. But silence leaves you questioning everything. Did I do something wrong? Did I miss something? Or was it just that my healing was too loud for her comfort? That's when it hit me. The grief wasn't just about her absence. It was about realizing my trust had been misplaced. I placed my heart in hands that couldn't hold it. I built safety around someone who was never meant to steward it. And when the silence came, I wasn't just mourning her, I was mourning the version of myself that believed she could never hurt me. Have you ever had silence louder than words? The kind that made you second guess yourself? That's not healing, honey. That's hiding. And let's be real. Some people clap the loudest when you're at your lowest. They'll be right there when you're crying, when you're venting, when you're in survival mode. Because as long as you're down, they feel needed, they feel equal, they feel safe. But let you start healing, let you start setting boundaries, let you start shining. Suddenly the applause fades, the phone doesn't ring the same, the I'm so proud of you turns into silence, or even worse, that side eye. Because here's the truth, it's not always about money, it's not always about things. Sometimes, and most of the time, people envy your peace, the peace they can't find for themselves. Sometimes they envy your freedom, envy your ability to lay it down when they're still carrying it. And that envy is sneaky. It doesn't always show up as jealousy in your face. Sometimes it shows up as distance. Sometimes it shows up as a backhanded compliment. And sometimes it shows up as the friend who only calls when you're struggling, but disappears when you're thriving. And that's what happened with her. She didn't want me to lose. She just didn't want me to win bigger than her. She wanted me in the race, but only if I stayed a few steps behind. And that right there, that's grief. That's displaced trust. Because I believe her clap was for me, but it was really only for the version of me that didn't make her uncomfortable. Now pause for a second. Who disappears when you start doing better? Who grows quiet when you stop surviving and start thriving? That's where the wound lives. And until you name it, it'll keep bleeding in silence. You know what it felt like? It feels like that cracked phone screen. The phone still works, but every time you look down, you're reminded that it's broken. That's what silence in a friendship feels like. Functional, but fractured. You can still show up. You can still go on about your life, but deep down, you know something isn't the same. And ignoring it does not make it go away. Naming it does. And what no one ever tells you is how heavy misplaced trust feels. It's not sadness, it's layers. It's not just sadness, it's layers. It's confusion because you're asking yourself, when did it shift? Did I miss the signs? Was I blind to what was right in front of me? It's guilt. Because part of you feel embarrassed for believing so deeply, for giving so freely, for letting your guard down with someone who couldn't carry it. It's anger, not just at them, but at yourself. You're angry that you didn't listen to your spirit. You're angry that you kept making excuses for behavior that was already showing you the truth. And then it's grief. Because you don't just lose the friend, you lose the safety. You lose the version of you who trusted without flinching. You lose the innocence of believing they would never. That's the weight. It lingers. It follows you into new friendships, into new seasons. You find yourself second guessing people who actually do love you. You replay old conversations, looking for the red flags that you once ignored. And that's why Proverbs 4:23 says, above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. Guard it. Not lock it up, not build walls so high that no one can reach you, but guard it with wisdom. Because when trust gets misplaced, the grief can last longer than the friendship itself. Now take a moment to ask yourself, which part of the weight are you carrying right now? Is it confusion, guilt, anger, or is it just grief? And what would the shift look like if you named it out loud instead of carrying it in silence? And that's where God had to check me because I was calling it life just happens. I kept saying, oh, we grew apart. People change, life moves on. But it wasn't just life. It was envy. It was silence. It was betrayal. And once I finally named it, I realized I hadn't healed. I just hadn't said anything. See, the danger of silence, it tricks you into thinking you're over it because you're not talking about it. But the truth is, unspoken pain still bleeds, just in private. It bleeds into how you show up in new friendships. It bleeds into how quickly you trust. It bleeds into how tightly you guard your heart, even from people who actually love you. But the moment you call it what it is, that's when the healing starts. When I said that was betrayal, that was envy, that silence hurt me. Something broke open and God could finally touch it. Psalms 34:18 says, the Lord is close to the brokenhearted and save those who are crushed in spirit. And I had to learn God can't heal what I kept pretending doesn't hurt. He can't comfort what I keep covering up. But the second I put words to it, the second I stop hiding behind life happens, that's when his presence rushed in. That's when the wound stopped festering and started mending. Because naming it isn't about rehashing old drama. It's about releasing it. It's about saying, this hurt me, but it won't define me. I see it, I feel it, and now I'm letting God carry it. So what pain have you been calling life when it was really betrayal or envy or silence? What have you been downplaying because it felt easier to cover it than confront it? That's the place where your healing begins. And here's what healing looks like for me. Journaling the truth instead of covering with excuses. Praying to God, Lord, please show me who's for me and who's not. And accepting that not everyone you start with will finish with you, and that's okay. Because not everyone deserves a front row seat to your becoming. Dangerous wounds come close range. And grief often comes from displaced trust. But here's the hope. God heals close range too. He meets you right where the wound is. He restores what you thought was permanently broken. So don't confuse silence with healing. Speak it, name it, release it. Every voice I share, every story I tell, it's so that she walks away with something. Remember, you are enough, and I love y'all real bad, real bad.